So this is my like second attempt at trying to film this tonight. I filmed like a makeup video a few minutes ago. It was like very, fun and like lighthearted and didn't feel that serious, and the entire time I was just itching to get done with it and like be able to film this, and now I'm here and in front of the camera and I'm like breathless and I'm nervous and I'm anxious, and it's really weird because I was at this conference really recently in Palm Beach with Style Hall. It was the PCPC conference. It's like personal care, I don't know, like makeup brands were there, like Dove was there, like a lot of brands were there. It's really so that they can get together. I don't want to talk about it. It's a cool thing. Like, I don't want to talk about it like I know though, because I don't want to seem like an idiot. But basically they all get together to like kind of like discuss marketing and stuff like that, and best practices and blah blah blah. And I was kind of there as like a real in-flesh millennial on the internet, And I got on stage and just took in a breath, introduced myself, and I said, "Hi, I'm Loey, I'm 23 and I make videos on the internet." And that was it. That was the last moment I could breathe. I was so breathless and so scared and shaking and just like having a full-blown anxiety attack on the stage. And luckily I made it through. I kind of like simmered down and the crowd was really, really nice. But like, it's funny because I have a really big audience here on YouTube. And that's not to say like I'm the most famous person ever or anything like that. But it's certainly to say that I certainly have a lot of people to talk to, and I don't mind doing that. But when I have to start talking about myself, I get a little bit nervous. So that was a weird intro, but hi. I realized that I have not been very candid or open here in the last few months. And sometimes I feel like I'm very open and very like raw and like I share a lot, but I don't share very much at all. Like, I'm shaking. Do you guys hear this? I don't know why I get so nervous. Sometimes I frustrate myself. But I guess it's just sort of like a hard thing to talk about. And I'll get straight to the point. I was watching one of Graveyard Girl's, Bunny's videos on YouTube tonight, and it was a vlog of hers where she sort of talked about like how she's lost her willingness to be open, and like she's kind of lost that sense of openness with her audience and like talking about life and stuff and talking about like depression and anxiety and all of these issues. Sorry, I have like little blonde baby hairs that are sticking everywhere and they're driving me nuts. And I feel the same way. I feel like somewhere, especially in the last couple of months, I have really changed and grown in some aspects, but changed as a person. And the reason that this sort of like originated to me, I sort of filmed a video like this a few days ago and it just didn't turn out how I wanted, was I'm going to be putting up like a lot of older vlogs on my vlog channel because they're all memories like I want to keep, I want to put on the internet, but they're from like this past summer, like last summer. That's what a flop I am. And I think there's a very distinct point, or very not distinct point, because it's not like that. It's more like you can see the difference between my vlogs that, like, let's say I did in New York and Palm Beach last week, yeah, and these vlogs I did over the summer. Sorry I keep smacking. I don't know when I picked that up as a habit. I don't necessarily like it. I'm also picking at my cuticles as I'm doing. I'm a mess. Yeah, I think I kind of like lost my willingness to share, and I think a lot of that comes from not like a fear of being judged per se. I didn't really like what was happening in my life. And I didn't want to share the ugly. Like, I think a lot of YouTubers make it seem like it's like you're going to see everything. You're going to see the good, the bad, the ugly. Like every part of it you're going to get. But I've always been like such an optimistic, and this is pre-YouTube even. Some people think like the way that I portray myself on YouTube is like fake or it's a character or anything, and it's definitely not. I've always been very happy and very upbeat, and maybe a couple of years ago I wasn't being my full true self to the camera, and I wasn't showing a lot of the excitement that I have when I film. So it's hard for me to be like, yeah, I'm having a really hard time. Like, there's a lot of crap going on in my life. I have not gotten out of bed for 5 days straight. You know what I mean? And so vlogging just didn't seem like an option. But now just looking at the kind of contrast, I realized that I have really like closed myself off as a person. And this is not like a new realization. I guess it's just kind of gotten to a point where it's like I can't ignore it. I can't say like, oh, you know, it's not that big of a deal anymore, because it's so obvious and it's so like I've really closed myself off as an individual, and it's not just on YouTube. I'm drinking coffee out of my Illinois mug that I got when I was in Chicago last year. A lot of it has to do with my dad. And every time I just say like my dad, I get chills, and I don't even know. You guys, I've been doing so much stuff with his estate lately. I'll get into that in a different part of the video. I want to like keep on a track. Stay focused, Lo. But a lot of it is just like I've been hurt a lot here lately by people I really thought cared about me. I think that in hard times, you really recognize who cares and who doesn't. And no one openly says that they don't. You know what I mean? Like, people in your life who are close to you, they're always going to say, I'm here if you need anything, like, I'm here for you, yada, 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 yada. But you figure out very quickly in the way that people treat you and in the way that people act how they truly feel and your level of importance to them. And that's not to say that I should take top priority in anyone's life, for sure. I feel like every time that I say something like that, I need to like quickly back it up with like, well, that's not what I mean, because there are people who I genuinely do believe look at the things that I say and like immediately try to find a flaw in them. But that's certainly not what I mean. More so that any kind of support, it would be just enough to where they felt comfortable. And then like, okay, so I'm going to talk about like two different scenarios here with two different people that are very close to me. And of course I won't name names or anything. One person I became very close with in this past year. I went to them after my dad passed, and I had a conversation, and I did all the talking. They were really just there as like my shoulder to cry on. Like, they listened, you know. I talked about a bunch of stuff with my dad and how I felt like my life was just out of control, and I couldn't handle anything that was happening to me anymore. It felt like I was just being hit with everything imaginable, and that I couldn't talk about it, and that like there's always someone who has it worse, you know what I mean? So I guess I never feel like I have the right to complain or talk about my problems or anything like that. And they listened, and they were very respectful the entire time. And I mean, I was very worked up, and so I started like crying. I was upset. And so this person kind of like immediately like turned a 180 and was like, no, don't do that. Like, here, I'll get you to smile. And it was like they were so desperate to get me not to feel the sadness and the kind of like emotion that I was feeling, that it was just like, it was a desperate attempt to like make me not do that, to like reverse it, you know what I mean? And I was just like, no, like, I'm not gonna be happy at this particular moment in time. Like, I'm just upset. Like, just let me be sad. It's cool. Like, it's good. And they were like, no, don't cry. You know, like, I'll do X, Y, Z. Like, I'll make you happy. Like, think of this. And just trying very hard to reverse that. And while I believe that person cared, it was almost like I was allowed to share, and I was allowed to like talk about this thing until the point where they were just like really uncomfortable with it. And I could tell that they were very uncomfortable that I had showed so much emotion. Whereas another person in my life was very much so the same way, like really listened when I talked, chimed in as much as humanly possible, and it was kind of like an awkward exchange. It was like, I can't imagine, you know what I mean, like on their end, I'm so sorry, like those sorts of things. Like, they were chiming in as much as humanly possible. You get what I mean? And then that person and I were kind of like talking in a different scenario, and they said, you know, I'm trying so hard to be here for you, and I want you to know that I always am, but sometimes I just don't know what to say, but I never want you to feel like I'm not here, you know? And I think that like it was kind of this moment for me that I was like this is the difference. This is someone who doesn't necessarily know how to handle this situation and has never been in my shoes, but wants so much to be there for the good, the bad, the really, 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 really ugly, like the mental breakdown, sobbing on the floor at 2 a.m. ugly. And here's a person who truly is a fair weather friend. Because after that whole thing where it was like I was upset, they were trying so hard to reverse it, I kind of like held in as much as I could, and I was just like, okay, whatever, like it's all good, I guess, I'm okay. They literally never talk to me or hang out with me anymore. And it's like, unless I'm doing something for that person, they don't hit me up, you know? So I think like it's a really strong contrast. That situation and this in general has kind of like helped me to reflect on a lot of the people that are currently in my life and just start to pay attention to when I'm being hit up or when someone wants to talk to me. It's not that I'm talking about my dad all the time. It's not that I'm talking about these problems all the time. It's really that like I have been keeping it in so completely and totally for months. I mean, my dad passed and it was like I immediately had to jump into the legal stuff. Like I had to make sure my brother was okay. I had to make sure my mom was okay because I felt like I had to be everyone else's strong place. And I never took the time to grieve my dad's passing. I never, ever took any time for myself. And it really started to reflect in everything else in my life. I relapsed into my eating disorder. I really struggled with that. I'm still struggling with that right now in this very moment in time. And I'm really trying to channel that into like healthy eating and working out and stuff again. And so far it's been working pretty well actually. But just, you know, anyways, that I relapsed into that. Like I had a full-blown mental breakdown one day. Like I did this thing where I was paying all of my own bills, all of my father's bills. I mean, he had a house, he had cars, he had insurance. I had to keep the insurance going so my brother could keep his car. He had an apartment in Alaska. He had storage units. It was like I was taking on all my own stuff, including YouTube, including my career, my job, whatever. I was taking on a move in a couple of months and planning to do that and move across the country again. And I was taking care of my dad. But more than that, I was taking care of everyone around me and trying so hard to keep it all together. Because when I did lose it, when I did show emotion, a lot of the people around me, not all, I don't I don't want to sit here and make it sound like I'm surrounded by exclusively like bad people or toxic people or whatever, because it's not like that, but it would be a situation where I truly was made to feel like I was being a burden, and I won't really get into that, but it was being held over my head a lot. I've just had a really hard time with recognizing that I need to put myself first, because I really lost control of everything for a while. There is a period of time, and I really debated talking about this because I think it makes me seem so irresponsible, and it truly was, like, so irresponsible. But there was a period of time where my dad had all of these things, and I was paying so much money, you guys, to keep all of them together. And then in December, I just stopped, and I didn't answer anyone's phone calls. I didn't pay anything. I didn't do anything with his estate. Didn't talk to my lawyers, didn't move forward at all with the situation. And I literally did that from like December 1st until a couple of weeks ago. And it could have been really bad. Like I could have lost like my dad's house. I should quickly say anything that involved my brother, I always sit on top of like the insurance and stuff like that. Like the car that was in my dad and my brother's name. Like that never went out the window, but like things that were exclusively my dad and benefiting me, like I tossed out the window. I wasn't doing videos. I wasn't taking care of myself. Like I would sleep for 15 hours a day and wake up so exhausted. I would have all of these nightmares all of the time about being chased by monsters and about falling and about dying. Just my mind was in chaos. My life was in chaos. And I felt like I had no one around me to lean on. And it was really because I was trying so hard to be strong for everyone in my life, because I felt like a lot of them would show me the same callousness and the same like level of disrespect that some other people had. And just, you know, this isn't to say that anyone, the reason I'm talking about this now is because at first everyone was very supportive, obviously. Like, I was having a hard time, like my dad passed away. But people who knew the amount that I was juggling and then would really hold it over my head when, let's say I had to cancel something because of a lawyer meeting or something like that, which happened a couple of times, it would just be held over my head a lot, and I would be made to feel like a terrible, really shitty person because I couldn't gain any control in this situation. And before I ever like just quit with my dad's estate, was just like, nope, done. And it wasn't even a moment where I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. It was like, I just stopped, and I still don't know why I did it. Even before that, I have been trying so hard to gain control of my dad's stuff, and it has been so obnoxiously hard. I had the worst lawyer on planet freaking Earth for about a few months there. And when I say the worst lawyer, I mean she was doing nothing, like absolutely nothing, like would not file anything, would not do anything, nothing. And the problem with that was that she was a family friend, so she was doing it for no cost. She was just doing it for filing fees. However, like, she wasn't doing anything because she was focusing on things that she got paid for. And so I would call her all the time, she would never answer. That was a huge reason why I just like backed off of everything. So it was like in that entire time frame, if she had ever called me, I would have answered because she was like my main lawyer on it, but she never did anything, never filed a petition to become head of estate in that entire time frame. Basically, when someone passes and they don't have a will, someone has to be appointed head of their estate to like do all of the legal things, right? She never did anything. So I finally switched lawyers over completely, and I'm looking a lot better so far. Thank God. But yeah, like I just literally lost control of everything. And in this time frame, I switched managers. I went through a really big shift in like my goals for this year and for YouTube in general and like my career in general, because YouTube's great, but it's not like what I'm chasing after, you know? I want to do more writing and more acting, and well, I've never done any acting, and I'm someone who would really like to do that, and definitely writing more books and, you know, getting my first published, like that's been a huge thing for me, and maybe getting another published hopefully in the next year, and modeling and all of this stuff that I'm really chasing after. So my life is very divided between like my work, my dad, and then my personal, and it feels like 3 full-time jobs that I can't keep a hold of. And so I think that alone explains like kind of like an unwillingness to share, because when your life is in that much chaos, like you don't want anyone to know. I would never want someone to come onto my channel and be like, this girl is a freaking train wreck. And there are some channels that thrive off of drama and just like the chaos in their own lives. And like, I hope no one takes that in a negative way, because that's not what I mean. Like, it's certainly a form of like entertainment for some people. Like, they want to follow the drama, they want to you know, even maybe like relate to another human being who is as stressed out and as freaking out as they are. Like, sometimes you don't need someone to tell you everything's gonna be okay. Sometimes you need someone to be like, yeah, like the world is ending. And some people want to feel sad or are sad and want someone to relate to. And I guess I just this is such a happy place for me. YouTube is my home more than any other place on the face of this planet. I feel more at peace and more at home here than anywhere else. And you guys got me through my dad passing more than any human on this planet. And I mean that with the most love to my family as humanly possible. But it's the truth. And that's not to say that they wouldn't have been there. It's just that I didn't know how to turn to them or even talk to them the way that I was talking to you guys. I guess like that kind of leads me into, I mean, I stopped sharing personal details or anything a long time ago. I stopped talking about my relationship. I stopped talking about anything like a while ago. This really is supposed to be, you know, a happy place. Like, it's a place for stories, it's a place for makeup, it's a place for fashion, it's a place for whatever the heck I want to put out there, adventures. Okay, so here's the best way I can explain this. You can comment and make assumptions and make an opinion and do whatever you want with that information that I just said. Makeup and fashion. I love your makeup. I really hate your makeup. You're really ugly. You're really fat. You're really pretty. You're, I don't know, what's something else? Your stories suck. You're boring. Like, or, you know, really nice versions of that too. But you can form any and all of that, and it's all your opinion. And that is amazing, because I have given you enough information to where you can form that about me. But when it becomes too real, I take it so personally, and I'm such a sensitive human. I was talking to Stephanie, the CEO of Style Hall, actually, about this recently, and about how, like, comments, I don't remember what the heck they were, but they were like getting to me, you know, like I didn't want to read them anymore today or that day. And she was like, why do you let them get to you, like, at your level? How can you do that? And I told her, like, it really comes from a good place. Like, I promise it's partially from, like, I am a sensitive human, but also from a place of, like, I try so hard to make people happy, that when it's beyond, like, the you're ugly, you're fat, your stories suck, when it's like, you aren't doing XYZ video, I'm unsubscribing. Which I get all of the time, because my content is so vastly different on this channel at the moment in time. There are so many people who are like, you're not doing enough of this, bye, like, see you later, you know, I'm out. And I really do consider my subscriber base a family. So that, like, it stings, you know what I mean? I take it very personally and very hard. And when, like, someone is disappointed in a video, or, like, I don't even know, I'm trying to think of anything else, but, like, I try to be the least controversial human on planet Earth, and I think that's where it stems from, is, like, I don't want to be controversial. I don't want anyone to look at my life and, like, talk about it. Like, I know that there are a lot of people who get talked about and who get a lot of recognition for being controversial, not even by choice. I just sort of wanted to be more in control over what people could form an opinion on, you know? Because it really was affecting me, like, certain things that I was sharing and hearing comments on them, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, it sort of made me, like, feel like crap, and made me wonder about myself as a person. And, like, I never want to feel like that. Like, I never want something that I love so much to make me feel like crap, because I know myself as a person, and I know that I'm not, like, a bad person. I don't do bad things in my life. I certainly stumble, and I'm a 20-something-year-old, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna make mistakes and grow and change. I get kind of scared about the narrative that's out there about me. You know what I mean? So I just stopped sharing a lot of information, and I don't want to be closed off. Like, I want people to feel like they know me, because I feel like you really do, and you know all of these positive and happy things. And so, like, you can probably imagine why, like, it's scary. I keep doing this, but I hate the way that I look with my hair pushed back when I have the middle part. It makes me think of middle school, except my hair is a lot nicer now. You can probably imagine why I was very nervous to do this, because it's, like, a side that I don't show. And I mean, I have anxiety, I have depression, I struggle with my mental state a lot. I struggle with everything in my life here recently, it seems like, and I struggle with feeling like I'm good enough, and, like, I'm allowed to have these spells of time. I think that's the worst thing, is I can't control. I had, like, a full-blown mental breakdown the other day, and once again, like, it was kind of that situation where I was in front of someone who really did not want me to showcase that much emotion. And so immediately I was, like, having this mental breakdown. Like, I was really losing it. Like, something had happened, and I was just, like, beside myself. And this person was just, like, super uncomfortable. I could tell, like, I mean, I'll just say it, was, like, angry with me for being the way that I was being, like, having, you know, being in the mental state that I was. And this isn't, you know, this makes it seem like I'm crying all the time. I'm certainly not. I really hold it in until I can't take it anymore. And so I've definitely broken down, like, 3 or 4 times since my dad passed, like, half a year ago. It's been almost half a year. That is so weird to me all of the time that it's been that long. But yeah, I was having that like full-blown like sobbing uncontrollably, like hyperventilating panic attack, along with like, I can't do this anymore, like I can't do anything, like I'm worthless, I'm a failure, like just berating myself, you know what I mean? And this person was really uncomfortable. And again, it wasn't like because I was saying those things about myself, it was because I was actually like freaking out. And I was like, all right, gotta pull it together, like can't act like this, can't be like this, gotta get it back. Can't let blah 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 see me like this. Again, it makes it seem like I'm not surrounded by very good people. And frankly, I guess I just sort of realized that a lot of the people that I was surrounded with were not very good people. And it's very, 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 very unfortunate to me. I'm starting to feel like maybe I'll never really have like a good group of like friends. My brother is my friend. My mom is my friend. I talk to them more than I talk to anyone else. And maybe like that's just the way that it is. Maybe I can't let people in, and that's a scary thought. I have a lot of like acquaintances and I have friends, you know what I mean? Like I have people that I hang out with and I have fun with, but when it comes to like real like heart to heart stuff, you know. And another thing I want to quickly say is I know I haven't said Tyler's name once in this video. And I know that there have been a couple of, not as many as there used to be. Because I think I kind of like came out and said like, hey, I don't want to share my relationship anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Like I don't want him to exist in terms of YouTube world for the most part, except I think I shared like a few Instagram photos with him and like turned off the comments and stuff because I just didn't want it to be anything that someone should commentate on, because it's like a very personal thing, obviously. And I have to be very cognizant of the fact that like I want to keep that narrative straight. Like I know I haven't said his name in the entire video. And it's again because I want to keep it completely and totally off of this platform and off of pretty much any platform. But again, I just want you to know like I'm aware of it. I see the comments. I also just wanted to throw that in. And then that's the Tyler segment. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, I feel like that's kind of all I really wanted to get into. Of course my camera's dying. That's kind of all I wanted to say. This really was like I can't begin to express to you. It feels like the hugest weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. I literally want to go downstairs and edit this right now, but I have to film another story. What the heck? I have to film a story time tonight. Quick change of subject. Really, really, really random. I bought the Coco Mademoiselle perfume. Coco Mademoiselle. I'm gonna link it down below. Like, just because sometimes people ask for that kind of stuff and like Coco Mademoiselle may not sound like it actually is written or whatever. It smells like heaven. I'm obsessed. It was so expensive and it was so worth it. It smells so freaking good. I'm in a bit of a perfume phase lately where I just really like perfume. So this is kind of the end of this little chat session. And I wanted to close out with a couple more thoughts and a couple of other things. Okay. Number one, I have had significantly less people recently come up and say hi, and more people tweet and say, I saw you here, I saw you here, I saw you here, I saw you here. And more people say like, I was afraid to come up to you, and more people whispering, is that Loey? Or look at me. I can usually tell when someone like knows me from YouTube or something, because it's just like, it's a look, and I'm like, I know, you know, we know. And I don't know if it's because like I've stopped sharing so much of my personal life to where like people feel like they can't say anything if they see me IRL, or if it's something totally different. I think that I have resting bitch face because a lot of people have called me bitchy before when they like meet me. Oh my god, I literally never cursed. That was so... I just realized that I did that. Okay, I'm so sorry for like all you virgin ears. Yeah, like some people say I'm like not nice in person, and like I'm always so happy. I get shy though, obviously, and I think like a lot of people who are shy get called like mean or B-word or like off-putting or standoffish because it's like you just get a little bit awkward. I'm a little bit awkward. I think I must have like resting like not happy face, but I am a happy person, I promise. Okay, this is getting off on a totally weird note. I just started this video off in such a strange mood, and like I've had to deal with my dad's legal stuff all day. I had to go see a lawyer this morning. Okay, so my day went like this. I went to drop Annie off at the vet. I went to go see a lawyer. I was there for like, God only knows how long, and I'm charged by the hour, so that's good. And then I came home, took a nap, and then I filmed this makeup video, and now I'm filming this video. And so, like, number one, like, who wants to see a vlog of that? Like, if you've ever wondered why I stopped vlogging so much, that's why, because, like, my life is boring. But also, it's just been, like, such a nice, like, it's out there now. I can really, this is, like, my diary. I just said everything I've been too afraid to say out loud, and I've even been too afraid to put on paper. And so I want to thank you guys really quickly before I go for always being my friends. And when I say, I have chills, when I say that, like, I feel like I'm never gonna have friends, IRL, you know what I mean? I hope that you know that, like, I consider this family so much my friend group. I love every single one of you. I have gone to dinner with some of you. I've met some of you for coffee. I literally will take every minute out of my day, if I can, to talk to you and communicate with you and let you know that you are so vastly important to me. And if I can be a part of your life, even a molecule of the way that you are a part of mine, I am so grateful and so happy for that. I hope that you know that when I tell you guys that I love you, when I tell you that I appreciate you, when I call us a family, it is not like a marketing ploy. It is not like, I watched a Poppy video recently where she was like looking off camera and it was very like robotic, and she was like, I love my fans. We are a family. Thank you for subscribing to me. And it like made me very aware of the way that, you know, some people will say that, but from the bottom of my heart, I love you guys so much and I appreciate you so much in my life. And you have saved me this past year in a way that I could not begin to explain, even with everything that I've said in this video. I just want you to know that you really have saved and changed my life forever. Even if I have a little bit more trouble opening up, I want you to know that no matter what, I will always be honest and true and real with you as much as I possibly can every day, as long as you guys will have me. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I love you, and I will catch you very soon in the next video.